Guys, so we've got some bush pig pork belly here. Bush pig we hunted in June. And if you want to watch that video, go to our other channel, Trophy Destinations, and that's where we do all our business stuff and all our tips and tricks for hunting and so on. Client hunts, everything. This channel will be more for our personal hunts, cooking, maybe some exercise, that kind of stuff, you know, more lifestyle focused stuff, farming, sheep farming and so on. But yeah, so we've got the pork belly here that we're gonna first sous vide, then we're gonna smoke it, and we're gonna make pork belly burnt ends with it. So what we need to do now first is we're gonna make a rub for this pork belly here. The rub is going to consist of mustard, which we're gonna rub it all with as a binding agent. This is some mild American mustard. Then we've got white sugar, we've got coarse salt, we've got smoked paprika, we've got onion powder, garlic powder, hot English mustard powder, and of course black pepper. That's all the things. You can add chili flakes if you want, but for the kids they don't like chili. So we're gonna make a rub. It's basically like a dry rub brine. It's gonna go into the fridge for half an hour or so before we put it into the sous vide bag and get sous vide. So let me show you guys. Here we're gonna get we've got a tablespoon and a teaspoon. So first things first is white sugar. Just give it like a nice heaped tablespoon. Then we've got 2 teaspoons of coarse salt. Something like that. You don't need to be too exact, you know, just do whatever feels right. Smoked paprika, 2 teaspoons. That's 1, 2. Next up we have garlic powder. It's still a new one, so let's put that aside. Garlic powder, we've got 1 teaspoon. Onion powder, 1 teaspoon. If you saw our short about the pulled bush pig pork, that recipe is going to come up. I've got the other half in the freezer, so I'm going to make a video about that soon, probably in the next 2 weeks or so. After that, we've got about half a teaspoon of black peppercorns. I like that pepper, so I'm going to put in a little bit more. And then last up, we've got the mustard powder. And also about half a teaspoon of mustard powder. Put that in. Alright, that's our spices done. Now to rub it, I always like to put on a glove just because it seems a bit cleaner, you know, it's just easier to clean up. I've got this all mixed up. Now we're gonna get us some mustard. Put that on there. Yeah, so this pork belly, it's about 1.5 kilos. You can see it's about 1 inch or so thick. So we're just gonna lather this mustard on all over here. Yeah, this plate's a little bit too small, but you get the drift here. On the fat side, let's get some more here on the meat side. All right, now get a cloth here. take our rub. We just spread it out nicely. And we just go and massage it all in. Don't need to overdo it because all the flavors will come out in the sous vide. And we want to throw some of this rub here into the sous vide as well. Into the bag. Get it nicely coated, nicely rubbed in. Next step, we got ourselves a cutting board. Lay this guy out there. Put in some more, coat it all up. All right, now get our meat knife and we're gonna cut chunks. Just nice chunks, kind of blocks. Cut up the whole thing. Put the chunks in the bags loose like this when we sous vide, and it doesn't take quite as long to get nice and tender. So if you've still got some fat on here and some connective tissue, don't worry about it too much. The sous vide process will break that all down very well. You'll see, I personally like to sous vide game meat because it helps with the flavor and it helps break down all the connective tissue. You could, of course, do this recipe just in the smoker as well. And I think a lot of die-hard smokers out there probably crucify me for using the sous vide first. But that's how I like to do it. And it's easier to keep it nice and juicy. And keep it all delicious for the family and the guests. So I'm just going to continue cubing up this meat. And then once that's done, I'm going to show you the next step. Okay, so we've got our bag here. We're gonna vacuum seal it. I've got like a home vacuum machine. But if you guys don't have a vacuum machine, just use the water displacement method. Put the meat in a Ziploc bag and slowly let it down into a sink full of water and it'll push all the air out. You guys can seal it up. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna put all this meat here into the bag. You guys can see I cut it into about cubes, you know, 1 inch thick by 1.5 inches, long little rectangles. Right. Now it's in the bag. Then we need to add a couple more little things. We're gonna add some soy sauce. My soy sauce ran out, so I've only got this little pack here from a restaurant. Ooh. I'm gonna mess around for them. Okay. There's a little bit of soy sauce there. Nice on the outside as well. And we got some Worcester sauce. Just a couple of little dabs there. We've got some honey. This is South Carolina honey that I got from my good buddy Buck from his farm. If you guys are interested in some great honey, let me know in the comments and I'll send you guys his way. Let me put this away. Alright, next up we've got the rest of the rub here. I'm going to put that in here as well. Trying not to spill any. Okay. So that's in, that's all in. Right. Now I'm going to put a little bit of fresh rosemary from the garden here. in the bag as well. And then we've got some bitterbos. It's a Karoo plant from the area here, a wild plant. Smells very aromatic and herbaceous. So you really just need a tiny little bit of this in as well. The flavors will intensify as we go along and the sous vide process happens. So you really don't want to give it too much, otherwise it will take over the flavor. So just a tiny, just a few little leaves is more than enough. All right, we're gonna vacuum seal this now, and then we're gonna pop it here into the sous vide. Got a little sous vide stick here, and I'll show you that step now. All right, so we've got the sous vide machine here. We filled it with water. We're gonna cook these cubes at 74 degrees Celsius for 18 hours. Then we're gonna take them out, put them in the fridge, let them cool completely so they get nice and firm again. And then we're gonna take them out to the smoker, smoke them, glaze them, and then make beautiful burnt ends. But yeah, let's put these guys in here while it's still getting hot. Is all right. I like to put them in and then put some weight over the top, so that, because as it cooks it will release liquid and might fill with a bit of air and come to the surface. So if we put weight in from the beginning, then we know it'll all stay down. I'm gonna pop the lid on here and I'll see you guys in 18 hours. All right, so the sous vide is finished earlier today. So we took it out of the water bath and put it in the fridge and let it cool down nicely. Now we've got our Weber smoky, sorry for the hot he does, but we've got our Weber Smoky Mountain here. We've brought it up to about between 120 and 130 degrees Celsius. We've put some camel thorn wood in there because I didn't have any apple or cherry or pecan or anything like that. But what we're going to do now, we're cutting this open, and then we're going to keep all the juices here, and we're going to put that aside for a bit later when we braise it and glaze it. So now we've got all the chunks of meat here. They're nice and cold. If there's any wind noise, I'm sorry, I'm trying to use the microphone. But you never know if it's cutting out all the wind until you go back to editing. All right, then to excuse the dogs if they start barking. All right, so we've got all the meat chunks here. They're now fully cooked and pasteurized. It's a little tough because they're cold, but they're now going to go onto the smoker. We're first going to, gloves are for later. We're just going to season them a bit more with the same rub that we put on them yesterday before we put them in the sous vide. So we're just going to give them a nice coating of this. The wind is making it a bit difficult and a messy story here, but we'll make it work. Last little bit. All right, so the smoker's now up to about 120. We can just open it up a bit more here and give it some more air, because today's a bit cloudier, so it's not quite as warm. So what we're going to do now, we are going to pop them on here. Just spread them all out nicely. And then we're going to smoke them for about an hour, hour and a half. We're going to, once they start getting a nice bark, we'll take them off, and then we're going to put them in a cast iron pot that we have. You can use a tin foil, a meat dish as well, but I just don't have any, so I've got a Weber cast iron pot which will work perfectly fine. And we're going to put the braising liquid in there, which we're going to make here once these are ready, and then use some of the sous vide juices as well. So I'm just going to finish up these guys here, and then I'll see you guys again in about an hour or so when we have a look at them. All right, guys, see you in a bit. All right, so it's been just over an hour because I don't know, the charcoal's not doing too great, so we were struggling to get temperature in. But we've been running it at about 120 Celsius for about an hour 15 now. So now we're going to take it off and we're going to make a braise and a glaze in this cast iron Weber pot here. And then that's going to go back on. So let's start here with the making the braise, and then we'll move them over. So first things first, we've got some Asian sticky barbecue sauce here. We need about 1/3 of a cup. So this is about 1/2 cup, so not quite a full one of these. Okay, there we go. Okay. Very nice. Then we need 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey. Just got a tablespoon here. So 1 and 2. I think 2 will be enough because the barbecue sauce, being an Asian style, is very sweet already. So I don't want to overdo the sweetness. Next up, we've got 2 tablespoons of butter, which I forgot to bring with. Yeah, so next up, we've got 2 tablespoons of butter. Here we just measure with the tablespoon, or just scoop some, put it in. It's not that important to be exact when you're cooking. Just do it according to your taste, I think. That should be about 2 tablespoons of butter. Next up, we've got 1 tablespoon of sugar. You can use white sugar or brown sugar all through this recipe. I just only had white sugar here, so that's what I'm using. Scoop all of that in there. Here we go. Okay. Next up, we've got 2 teaspoons of white wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar. I didn't have any, so I just changed the recipe to be with white wine vinegar. 1, 2, there we go. And then last up, we've got, if you remember, our sauce here from the Sous Vide bag. So what do we have here? We need about between 20 and 40, sorry, my recipe paper. We need about between 20 and 40 mils, so I'm going to do 30 mils of this juice. Now the rest of this juice you can bag up and freeze and use for a different recipe later on. And remember, if you don't have a sous vide machine, they're not very expensive, so just go out, get one. It's always something handy to have in the kitchen. But yeah, let's bring over the meat now. Now we're going to get the meat. Look at this. Look at this. I'm going to put on my glove here. If you guys ever wondered how the guys barbecuing put on their black gloves and not burn their hands, it's because they put this white cotton glove underneath. It's just something that I never knew and I thought was quite interesting, and I've recently actually learned. So that's what I'm doing now. Now I can grab them without having to worry about burning my hands too much. Look at this here. Nicely, it's the fats all melted and glazing. So we're going to put all of these guys in here. 45 minutes or so. Let that braise nicely in that pot. Then we're going to take the lid off and let it glaze and render down a bit more and cook all the meat nicely with the lid off for about another half an hour or so. So once this is done, 45 minutes from now, we're going to see you guys again. Alright, so the 45 minutes is up. It's been about 128, 130 the whole time Celsius. So we're gonna take the lid off and then have a look, and then we're gonna give it another 15 to 25 minutes with the lid off so that the sauce can kind of render down a bit and glaze the meat nicely. But yeah, we're gonna test it again at 15 and then again at 25, but let's take the lid off now. Smells excellent. Alright guys, it's been another about 20 minutes since we last took the lid off. Oh, and I'm going to show you these guys now. Sorry if you hear my kids in the background. My daughter wants to help here and my son's sitting in his little swimming pool. And if you hear music in the back, it's my wife that's in the gym. So a lot of things going on this afternoon. But let's get this out now. It's ready. And I'll show you guys on camera now. Ooh, beautiful.
Yummy.
Oh, it looks delicious. Sorry for the kids. It's part of a dad life, country life. You got to teach them how to cook right, eat right, wild game, and not all this processed shit that people buy in stores all the time. I mean, we hunted this bush pig, you know, to go from this to this is pretty amazing. So what you do now is you just scoop it out, you let it rest for 10 minutes, and then let me show you guys. I mean, look at this, super glazed, super sticky deliciousness. So yeah, let it rest for 10-15 minutes and then serve it to your guests. And please subscribe, like, comment down below if you want to see more videos like this, and enjoy it. And yeah, see you guys in the next one.